Hi, Lisa.
Hi Ruth, how
Hi.
are you?
Good, yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. I'm all right at this moment in time.
Yes, for the moment. Um, yeah, so this is our third Eastrox Wellbeing. No, our fourth.
Yes.
This is our third in a series on the immune system. The first one, well, I'll introduce myself first. I'm Ruth Coates and I'm a psychotherapist based in East Lothian, and I'm a member of Go Train Eastrox.
Hello, and I'm Lisa Johnson, and I am a coach at Go Train Eastrox, and I'm also owner of Super Being.
Great. And we chatted a bit about that last week, didn't we?
Did.
So we have thus far talked about the immune system in relation to laughter,
Yeah.
how much that supports us, and to get as much of that as we can. And then in our last chat, we spoke about how food and nutrition supports the immune system, and to try and be more mindful about that in different ways.
Yeah.
And our third talk today regarding the immune system is around movement.
Yes, which I'm excited about.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Obviously at Eastrox, we're all used to moving a lot anyway, but maybe in quite a specific way.
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so what I was thinking was, because we've been talking about how to support our immune system, and we talked about laughter, and we have talked about food, and we know that keeping fit and exercising your body is quite good. But as you say, it's kind of done in not necessarily a prescribed way, but it's different. We're training, we're working out. It's purposeful. It is what it is. So it's quite definite. But I also think that, you know, when we've done our workout and when we're in our peaks and troughs of life, and just, you know, being in moments of maybe fug and stress, and perhaps maybe not having a great time, you know, you're not going to dash out into your garden and start doing 20 push-ups. Well, you might. You might, but maybe that's even hard to manage because of where your headspace is at. And I'm just sort of trying to think about what other ways we move and how that supports our immune system and our nervous system.
Yeah, and the nervous system is so important as part of this as well. And just thinking about stress and the impact of stress right now in this moment in the world, and how that affects the immune system as a starter. So the pandemic that's happening is stressful. There's a lot of worry, of course, about that. And then our lack of contact with each other, being able to have physical contact with each other, that is a kind of deprivation. So that's stressful on a very human, primitive level. And then there's the living conditions, whether we're living by ourselves, solo, or we're living with people and not being able to get a break. Whether, you know, we can have a great relationship with those people, but actually being up close and personal that whole time can be stressful. And the results of stress, as we know, is raised cortisol. And that in itself, too high levels of that consistently dampen the immune system and impede those infection fighting systems.
Yeah.
So, yeah, our focus today is on movement and how that helps support the immune system.
Yeah. So when we're in that place of stress, because either we are overthinking, thinking too much, not taking enough time away from what is going on in the world, whether we are feeling claustrophobic in our own homes because we are seeing too much of the people we share that home with, or because we are not seeing anyone, and we have got no human contact, no endorphins, no real kind of oxytocin to make us feel, woo, you know, that.
There's that flying around at the moment. So again, just like laughter and food, we maybe need to be a bit more intentional than we usually are in order to move well, in order to support our immune systems. And the bit in between, like you've already mentioned, is the nervous system. So I think almost all of us at the moment are in a state of fight, flight, or freeze. So we've got a lot of pent up, what we call survival energy. And because we are in these circumstances, we're finding it harder to discharge that. So we're not going about our daily activities in movement wise. We're not taking our kids to clubs. We're not able to have the space that we usually have. We're not on the daily commute. So our movement patterns are different. We're sitting down a lot more, we're more sedentary and still. And that's deeply uncomfortable and stressful when you have a lot of this worry and anxiety and this survival energy going on. So we had talked about before, haven't we, about how workouts are brilliant, obviously, for that. Weightlifting is brilliant for that, for feeling some agency and control and getting those endorphins, getting the heart pumping. Fantastic. If you do that just even once a day, what are you doing with the rest of that time? And maybe becoming more conscious about how we move in those other hours in the day is what we need. Yeah,
definitely. So what do we do, you know, if we are feeling all those feelings, all that kind of very highly charged emotional stuff? What can we do that's not necessarily running out and doing 40 push-ups in the garden? What are we doing to take care of ourselves and lower that stress down so that we are supporting our immune system? What are we going to do?
I think that's, just to say, I think that's fantastic, by the way. There's not, we do need to have those points of exercise in the day that are really intentional, and like good workouts, fantastic. But there can be too much as well of that, can't there? And that can tip us over into being kind of hyper aroused in the nervous system sense.
I think so, because the cortisol to go spiking. And it causes your immune system to think that there's something wrong. And therefore it takes a lot of resource to protect. So you need to take care of yourself as well. And again, that comes down to your food and your vitamins, and make sure that you're looking after your body that way as well. So that if you are training a lot, which there's nothing wrong with, and overexerting your body for longer periods of time, then you need to make sure that you're putting back in what the body thinks it's losing.
Exactly. And we need to get to that nervous system state of like not really super active, but rest and digest, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. And we need to be, we're probably doing things already as human beings that kind of get us into that, but at this point in time probably need to be more deliberate about the activities we choose. So I've got 3 movements that I do for a lot of my work. Some of my work is with trauma recovery, and I have found myself incorporating this in my day-to-day life. So the first one, so when I was talking about freeze energy, or that freeze state, that's a very still, quite a kind of a low mood state. It can move into depression if we're there for overly long periods of time. And something to get out of that, and it's also such a really soothing movement, is a sway. Really simple sway. And you can do it anywhere, of course. And it's something that's obviously wired into us as very young, as babies and very young children. It's a really soothing, natural movement. And it encourages left brain, right brain communication. So it starts to wire up the brain when it's kind of offline, when we're in fight or flight or freeze. So it starts to get the communication going. It's so simple. And you can add in a tap on either side as well, that just brings a lovely bit of rhythm to it, but it's also kind of a really sensory thing. It's almost like a hug. Really lovely. And you can also bring in the breath as well. So nothing complicated, just a longer, slow breath out than the breath in. So inhaling and a long, slow breath out. And just doing that for a couple of minutes, several times a day, can really help soothe the system.
It feels very soothing for the few seconds that I've been doing it.
So, for example, if things are kicking off at home because we're all kind of there's a lot of pent-up energy with being hemmed in together, find a space in your house. It could be the bathroom, but just to do this for a few minutes, you can really notice the energy shift.
Lovely, I like that.
So that's from a kind of stillness to get maybe moving again very gently. The next kind of level up would be kind of 2 options. So one is what I do with some of my clients is shaking. So in the animal world, animals naturally shake after they've had a kind of a fight or flight, fight with another creature, or an antelope's being chased by a tiger. Afterwards, if
Yeah.
they survive, they'll do this. They'll shake it off. You see a dog doing that as well.
Yeah.
So with the people I work with, sometimes we do this. We just stand up together, and or I'm sitting down. You can do it sitting down, and you can just shake it off. You can just shake specific muscle groups. So it could just be your hands and your arms, or you can just like turn into a dance. You know, you can really shake your legs out and your arms together. Come out.
Wow.
So it can be really, really whole body as well. And you can feel the difference. You can feel your heart starting to pump, and just that kind of sense of agency. And you can start, at the end as well, you can just brush the energy off.
Yeah, okay.
And imagine that energy just coming off. It can be really powerful.
It is very powerful.
Yeah. And the last one, which is my favorite, is it's kind of, especially in these times when we're not able to go for a massage, it's a bit of self-massage, but it also kind of stimulates the system as well. So it's an energetic thing, but it's also a kind of fascia thing as well. So it can really work on the muscles. So it's tapping in a way, but with a kind of loose open fist.
Okay.
You just gently kind of thump your chest around the lungs is really nice. You can kind of hear that feedback.
Yeah.
Your shoulders, and go down your arms, down to your hand. Turn your arm over, and then down the other side. And you can change the kind of intensity of it.
Yes.
It's really nice on your muscles. And then around the back, and your shoulders. And that just really starts to shift some energy. You start to feel, I certainly start to feel my system changing. I'm doing something by choice, so I'm using this, that front part of my brain that goes offline if I'm feeling too much anxiety or too much worry, and it starts to help me feel more connected to my whole system.
Yeah.
We've got a kind of more fuller place to respond from. How do you feel after doing that?
I really like that. I definitely love the feedback that you get. I like this.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I really like that. I like touch. So for me, that's lovely feedback on my body. And
Yeah.
because my body is sore today from training yesterday, it feels really good. So I've got lots of response going on in my own body. So I feel it, but it also feels good. Yeah, I really like that. I love the fact that it also is stimulating your nervous system as well.
Yeah. It's it's a really lovely thing to offer yourself, I think, and it brings so much too. And you could do this like several times a day, or you could mix it up. Sometimes you might want to sway, sometimes you might want to just breathe, sometimes you can shake, especially good after a kind of falling out, or if you've just watched the news and you're feeling all pent up, you go into a different room and just shake it off. And really, imagine flinging that stuff off too. It's really, using your imagination is so powerful. So yeah, and the tapping as well.
Really like that. So we have the breathing, the breath work, and the swaying.
Yeah.
And then you can add in this.
Yeah.
We've got the this, and we've got the shaking.
Yeah.
So if we see people rocking, swaying, they're not mad. They are doing something very beneficial.
And the more you do it as well, the more your nervous system becomes used to those new pathways as well. So the more able you are to restore yourself to balance and calm, and that feeling of safety that we all need at the moment, more than ever. We have these tools available, all of us. We're walking around with this resource, the body. So we can really use these things to help us feel calm and safe. Yeah,
that's very cool. I was just thinking that maybe at the bottom of our little video we could put on those 3 movements, and then they're there. People can write them on their fridge. If it's a place you go to kind of go, oh, they're there, and you kind of go, okay, well maybe I'll do a wee bit of this first and see if that helps.
And if you've got kids around, the kids are great with this kind of thing as well, and they can often prompt you.
Yes.
So that's great.
It's super, Ruth. I really like that. I love the fact that it's so supportive of your mental health. and also your internal guide as well, your
Yeah.
immune and your nervous system. It's really nice connection.
Movement matters, and it really does support the immune system. You know, we're so connected. We're so connected.
Yeah.
Great.
Love it. I love it.
So
So
another invitation to everyone to kind of give us your suggestions about what you'd like us to discuss next.
yeah.
I'm sure we'll come up with something if we don't have any suggestions. We've got loads to talk about. So yeah.
But it'd be nice to see how people respond to this. I think that would be really cool, because I certainly before now hadn't realised that how visual, just getting rid of the
brushing at the end is really good. It'd be great to hear how people get on with that if they try it. Okay.
Fantastic. Yes. Well, good talking to you as always, and until next time.
Take care.
See you later. Bye.
Oh, I'm not gone.